Hi Navdeep, will be starting off. Am I, yeah, online audible, right? Okay, perfect, perfect. So last two sessions, couple of two sessions, what we have seen is just so far introduction about your course, what is the content of this course, and how we are going to continue throughout this course. That was the first session we have gone through. So just quickly recap. So what we have seen last Friday and Saturday. So 10th May we started actually, and that day we had a brief discussion about the course structure, what will be the structure. And I told you that what is the prerequisite. Prerequisite means before you start what you should know. Before learning this course, what is the prerequisite? So I told you that we need an intermediate level of English understanding and basic understanding of computer. If you are able to operate computer, then you will be able to understand how to do the programming, right? And lot of people say it is very difficult to understand programming. Lot of people say it is difficult, but it is difficult when you are not clear about your basics. When you are not clear about your basics, then it is very difficult. But it is very simple if you have the solid foundations, if you have a very clear understanding of basics, starting from the scratch, what is program, from that point if you understand, then it is very easy. That we have seen. Then for every concept, whatever the concept we are going to learn, we will ask some couple of questions. What it is, how to use that, when to use that, and some other questions based on the concept. So some couple of questionings every topic we will do, so that it is crystal clear for everyone that what we are actually learning. Then as part of this, as a backend developer course, in the backend Java backend, so you will learn core Java close to for 100 hours, advanced Java for close to 60 hours, mini project 30 hours, and some development tools for close to 30 hours. And then again frameworks such as Spring, Hibernate will take around closely 100 hours. So total technical training will be close to 300 hours. Then apart from that, you will have some quiz, mocks, presentation, resume building, aptitude sessions, interview preparation, and some grooming sessions if required. So this will be again 120 hours. So closely 400 hours duration we need for this course completion. And duration we talked about 4 to 6 months based on the availability. So minimum we will have 2 hours of class. And content, what we have just gone through, that this is the content we are going to have a path. Very simple, if you follow this path, learning core Java itself also, you will be having a clear step by step path. So if you learn this first thing and then second on, you will not have to like go through lot of books or something. If you follow this path, it is very easy to follow this path also, right? So last time in the first session we have seen just introduction to computers, what is software, what is program, what are programming languages. Then we have seen little introduction about your Java also. So we will just go through that, and then you already have this content in place. So once you complete your core Java thoroughly, you complete your advanced Java, some mini projects on core Java also, then development tools, and this is what we have seen. So day one, just theoretically we have just seen what is the course structure and content. Then day two we have just discussed about computer, what is program, what is software, programming language, and little bit about Java. So same thing we have just little ahead we have seen last session also. So let's try to revise like what we have seen so far. Check. So the first word we learned, that was what is a program. What is a program or a computer? So computer is an electronic device using which we can compute the things or do the calculations or do the computation. In short, we can do the tasks which we as a human can do, but the same task we can get the done from the computer also. So why to example, now let's say example of a calculator. We can also do the calculations, but if I take help of computer, for that matter calculator, so I can do the same task in a very minimal efforts and very precisely. The correctness is 100% guaranteed. But if I do the same task with human efforts, there is a high chance that you will make mistake. There is a high chance that you will take a lot of time, So to reduce that human efforts, we take help of computer. So what is computer? Computer is an electronic device using which we can get some task done. Task can be any mathematical, complex, simple to complex, or any other task. We can get it done from the computer. But to understand computer, we have to use something called as program. So if you want to get some task done from the computer, we have to give some instructions to the computer, right? So these set of instructions given to the computer is nothing but your program. So why we give instructions? Just to get some task done. Why we are giving instruction? Is there any reason? Yes, there is a reason that we want to get some task done from the computer to perform some task. Now task can be addition of two numbers, multiplication of two numbers, or multiplication of two numbers. It can be very simple task or it can be very difficult task also. So we have to give some instructions to the computer, right? So you understand what is the word program. Program is nothing but a set of instructions given to the computer to perform certain tasks. Then next, what is software? So software is nothing but when you combine these small tasks, small programs together, we get a meaningful software. So you can set of programs will give you a software. When you combine these all small tasks. Now if you take a calculator example, we do addition, multiplication, division and subtraction. These are nothing but small tasks. Now when you combine all these together, you get a meaningful software, that is calculator, right? So software is nothing but set of programs. Then we have seen last time what is programming. Programming is nothing but writing the instructions. What is programming? Coding. This is also called as coding also. Coding is nothing but writing instructions. Writing instructions. Then next question comes up is what is programming language? What is programming language? So what is programming language? So language we know, it is a medium using which we can communicate. Now we are also communicating right now. So I use the language English. You can understand English, Hindi or Marathi. So what are these Hindi, English, Marathi? These are the spoken languages using which we can communicate or using which I can just give some set of instructions. Yes or no? So similarly, the language in which we write the instructions is nothing but programming language. So what is programming language? The language in which we write the set of instructions. Now example, you already know a lot of programming languages. So we have C, C++, C#, Python, Java and so on. There are lot many. Then we have seen some earlier programming languages also. What was the earlier programming language? Binary language. Binary language, or that is also called as machine language also. So in these, what we used to do, the programs were written. Initially the programs were written in plain zeros and ones. Initially when the programming started, that time instructions were clearly written in terms of zeros and ones. So instructions were written in terms of zeros and ones, or ones and zeros. So what is the problem with this? We had a lot of problems with this programming language. Because why we are writing zeros and ones to the computer? Because computer understand only 0 and 1. Why computer understand only 0 and 1? Because computer understand only language of current, and presence of current we represent with the help of 1 and absence of current we represent with the help of 0. So he will only understand presence or absence of current, and we represent presence of current with the help of 1 and absence of current with the help of 0. That's the reason computer understand only 0 and 1. So is there any option that whether computer will understand any other programming language? No, he will understand only zeros and ones. Why he will understand only zeros and ones? Because he understand only two things, either presence of current or absence of current, nothing else. These are the only two things he understand. That's the reason we say programmer or a computer understand the machine language or a zeros and ones. Now you tell me, if I write the instructions, now in piece of paper, if I write the instructions in zeros and ones, what will happen? After some time, the instructions will be not that much readable, right? So after some time, you will realize that the whatever the code you are writing, it is not maintainable also. The code which you write is not going to be readable and maintainable, right? So you can say less readability of the code. You are not able to read the code properly. Now if you want to add new feature, into existing application, so what will happen? It is already in terms of zeros and ones. So writing zeros and ones, it is again difficult. So it is less scalable also. Now, last time we discussed that if you want to write code in terms of zeros and ones, there is a number one prerequisite you have. What is the prerequisite you need to write code in zeros and ones? What is the prerequisite? Prerequisite is the programmer. Who is programmer? The instruction writer. You are going to be writers soon? Yes, you are going to be writers. You are going to be original writers or copy paste wali writers? Every writer, every programmer is going to copy paste something, but what to copy and what to paste, that has to be also needed. That logic also, that knowledge is also needed. Now it will not happen that once you join company you have to write the code from the scratch. No, you can take references, but you should be able to take references at least from where, how to do that. That is also very important. So Googling is also one of the skill, right? Okay. So if you want to write code in zeros and ones, there is one number one requirement, the system hardware architecture. So whatever the system architecture we have, that is hardware, system hardware architecture details. So the programmer who is going to write, now who is programmer? Person who writes code, person who writes instructions. Navdeep, I am audible, right? And you are able to follow me, right? Okay, perfect. Saurabh, you also able to Akshay, you are also able to follow, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Any questions or doubts, please ask me. So we'll not go forward. Okay. So what I am telling you some things about binary language. So binary language means which contains zeros and ones, which contains only zeros and ones. So these instructions are directly understood by the machine. These instructions are directly understood by the machine, yes or no? Yes. So if there is directly understood, do we need any translator to translate any instructions? So we don't need a translator. So no translator is required. As instructions are directly understood by machine. So you don't need any third party translator who will translate your instructions, because this is already into zeros and ones. So we don't need translator. So is it going to be faster? So instruction execution will be faster because there is no translator required. Able to understand what are the things we need to know about binary language? Binary language, it is directly understood by the machine and we don't need any translator. Now, do you guys need any translator now? Whatever I speak, do you need to have any translator? You directly understood, right? Whatever I am saying. किसको समझ में नहीं आ रहा? सबको समझ में आ रहा है, right? Whatever I am speaking. Do you need translator now? You don't need any translator. You can directly understand, right? So similarly in binary also you don't need any external translator. So we will translate your instruction because already you are speaking zeros and ones. So the zeros and ones are directly understood by the machine. So you don't need any other third party. Okay, perfect. So as you see that there are some couple of advantages also and disadvantages also with the binary language. So what is binary language? Binary programming language, using which, what is the use of this binary programming language? Just try to answer these questions. So what questions we are trying to answer? What it is? Just try to ask these questions. So what it is binary language? These are instructions written in zeros and ones. Okay. And what are the advantages of this? Why we use this programming language? Why do we use? No, it understands perfectly fine, but why we are using? What is the use? What is the use of this programming language? Using this programming language, we are going to develop softwares. Yes or no? Using this, we are going to develop programs, and when you combine multiple programs, we get a meaningful software. So can I say, using this binary programming language, I am going to write the instructions. I am going to write the instructions means we are going to develop the program. When you develop small programs, you will get a software. Okay, and what are the advantages of this? What do you think? What are the advantages? Instructions are directly written in zeros and ones. Yes or no? So these are directly understood by the machine. So it is faster execution, less execution time. Can we say less execution time? It needs less execution time. So it will be faster. Application will be faster. Okay. Now, can you tell me what are the disadvantages?
Difficult to write.
Yes, first of all, it is difficult to write. Difficult to write. Then so it is also not able to read properly also, right? So less readability, less scalability. Scalability means adding new features. Then there is one bigger system hardware architecture details to be needed. Then writing the, now for a small thing also, for a small instruction also, let's say addition of two numbers. The programmer is supposed to write lot of code. Programmer is supposed to write lot of code. For a small addition of two numbers also, we have to write lot of code. So what will happen if you write lot of code for small things also? So you have to give, now let's say I want to explain to you programming language, and just to explain this I have to speak 1000 lines. And let's say if I use some other language, and if I say the same thing in 1 or 2 lines, which one is better? Instead of speaking 1000 lines, I can only speak 2 lines and my job is done. Yes or no? So same thing we can do with a high level programming language. So for a simple task also we have to write lot of code. For a simple task, as well, we have to write lot of code. These are some disadvantages, and these are some advantages. Simple. So just try to answer these questions one more time. What it is? It is a, yes, speak up guys. It is a programming language. It is a programming language, and in which it is a programming language and instructions are written inside in zeros and ones. Okay. Why to use this? Why to use this? Perfect. To develop software. And how do you develop the software? By developing small programs, right? To develop softwares. Okay. So when to use this? This was like, is there any reason that we should use binary language right now? There is no reason we should use binary now, because we have now same thing you can do with the one line of code also. So we have a lot of high level programming languages. Yes or no? So because of these issues, people started thinking that why not use some other programming language? Why not use some other programming language? So why they wanted to use some other programming language? Because of these pain points. Because of these pain points. Now why did you switch from your basic phone to smartphone? You wanted to have more and more facilities. You want to have more and more features, and you want to have a faster softwares, and you want a bigger softwares also. So you cannot develop the bigger and bigger softwares with binary. It will take years to develop that. It will take years to develop that. So people started working on some other programming language also. So what is that? What is that? Then we got some other set of programming language. What is that? Assembly language. By the way, binary language is also called as low level programming language. This is also called as low level programming language. Right? Now, then after the binary, we got assembly language, or this is also called as middle level language. Perfect. So what it is also programming language, and instructions were written in English like words called as mnemonics. English like words called as mnemonics. Example, now let's say you do not write instructions zeros and ones, you write instructions in plain English. Example, I want to do addition of two numbers. I will write add, I will say number 1 and number 2. Right? So we know what it is. It is also programming language using which we are going to develop softwares. It is also used to develop softwares. Now there are some other to overcome problems of binary language. To overcome the problems of binary language. So we are using this one. So what are the advantages of this? What are the advantages? What do you think? First of all, you are not writing the code in zeros and ones. You are writing code in English like language. So writing code is easy as compared to binary language. Yes or no? Instead of writing code in zeros and ones, you are writing in plain English words. So it is easy. Yes. So writing code is easy as compared to binary. And faster development, faster software development. So it is faster to develop softwares as compared to binary. What are the advantages? So still the developer or the software developer programmer is supposed to know hardware details. Still he is supposed to know hardware details. If you do not know the hardware details, how many ports are there, how many registers are there, still you cannot write the code in the assembly. Now there is one, it is not difficult to write code. It is let's talk about this. What are the disadvantages also? Okay. Now before I talk about the disadvantages, now what happens? Now your computer understands which programming language? Only zeros and ones. It understands only zeros and ones. Right? Now the code you have written is in English language. Let's say add number 1 and number 2. Now this code is not directly understood by the computer. So what do you need? So we need something called as translator. We need something called as translator. What is the job of translator? Translate this English like code into zeros and ones. So this translator is also called as assembler also. This is also called as assembler also. So the job of assembler, what is this translator? It is a software, or assembler is also software which translates this English like words into zeros and ones, and then these zeros and ones are understood by the machine. So this translator or assembler, this is the problem, because of which what happens, your code is not directly understood by the machine. Your code is not directly understood by the machine, so it is little slower. First we need to do translation, then the translated code will be understood by the machine. So there is a translation phase is available, there is a translation is available. So translator, we can say translator, or what we call it as assembler also, is required to translate assembly code into binary. So since translator is required, this is again a headache. So it is slower as compared to, what is slower? Code execution is, code execution I said code execution is slower as compared to binary. So these are some of the disadvantages we have. These are some of the advantages and disadvantages we have. So what is assembly language? Why do we use it? What are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? The list of the disadvantages goes on. We have just listed few. We have just listed down few. There are a lot of disadvantages of assembly languages are also there. There are a lot of disadvantages are also there. I have not noted down that, but there is a list goes on, right? So see here. Now in assembly language there has been development of lot of softwares. With the help of assembly language, lot of softwares are developed. One of the favorite was Unix. What is Unix? Unix operating system was initially in 1966 was written in assembly around 1966, but later this was again rewritten in C programming language. Why? Because there was lot of code we have to write for simple task also, again lot of code was needed to write that. Remember, it was again rewritten using C language by Dennis Ritchie. So who invented the C programming language? This is the guy. C programming able to understand? So what is binary language, what is assembly language, that we have seen. Then there were some couple of issues with this also. So then later era of 1970 onwards. So there are a lot of other programming languages were also developed. Now lot of freshers or beginners ask us, so why these many programming languages are there? Do we need to learn all the programming languages? Is it compulsory? Is it compulsory to learn all the programming languages? No. So can someone tell me, Navdeep, can you tell us like why these many programming languages are there in the market now? Just can you tell us little bit? Correct. 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 Okay, thanks Navdeep. So if you see, there are a lot of programming languages available in the market. Example, we have C, C++, Java, C Sharp, and so on. There is list goes on this one. So you think of this in a real world. Now we have mobiles. So why these? There are a lot of mobile brands are there in the market. Simple reason, everyone is trying to market something. Everyone is trying to provide more and more features, so that people use that and they get the more and more profits. So similarly, the programming language is not, all these programming languages are developed by different programmers, different people they have involved. So every team wanted to present something new so that their programming language is used as much as possible, right? So 1971 around C was developed around 1971. Then 1978 your C programming enhanced version, that is C++, was introduced, and so on. Around that C Sharp and so many other programming languages were also developed. So every programming language is developed to fasten the process of software development. They wanted to give more and more efficiency to the developer so that they develop bigger and bigger softwares, and they provide more and more facilities such as features, security, object, and there are a lot many things these programming languages try to provide, right? So there were a couple of problems with the C, C++. That's the reason 1990 around the programming language Java was introduced, right? So as we have discussed last time little bit about Java. So what is Java? Let's talk about Java. Yes. So it is a high level, perfect. It is a high level programming language. So using this, what we can do, we can develop softwares. So when we develop software programs, we automatically combine these programs and we get a meaningful softwares. So using Java, we can develop softwares, and we have seen what are the different types of softwares we have. System softwares, and we have, yes. So using Java, we can develop softwares. Which softwares? Application softwares. Application softwares. So under application softwares, we have different types also. What are the different types? Desktop, web applications, and we can develop enterprise or distributed applications, right? So let's give me little idea on this. So we have softwares. So softwares are of two categories: system softwares. We have system softwares and we have application softwares. Now these system softwares are basically your operating system, your drivers, and these are developed with the help of programming language, mostly C, C++. And other hand, we have application softwares. So we have three categories into this at high level. First one is desktop. Then we have web applications, and we have enterprise. Right? We have different categories. So with the help of Java, we can develop all these three categories, all these types of application: desktop application, web applications, and enterprise. So as we know, desktop means your calculator, notepad, which do not need internet. They can be executed without internet also. Then web applications such as YouTube, Insta, these are nothing but web application. Applications which are needed to run the internet is required to run these applications, and also these applications are running on a server machine, remote server machine. What about the desktop application? These desktop applications are running on a local machine. So data of the software will reside in this machine only. So that data you cannot access outside of the machine. That is on that local machine. What about this? This application can be accessed anywhere. because since you are connected to this server from anywhere, the application can be accessed. So you can access YouTube from anywhere. Yes, that is because the application is running on a web server or a remote machine. Again, enterprise is also internet based application when you combine multiple web applications. So enterprise means these are very big applications. They cannot run on a single machine. So we need different machines. So parts of that bigger applications are running on different machines. So we have a bigger code base, we have bigger softwares. Now that bigger software cannot run on a single machine. So we have to execute that application on different machines, some part on this machine, some part on this machine. So that's the reason it is called as distributed. So your application is running on multiple remote server machines because this is bigger enough. It is bigger than the web application. And these enterprise applications also we can develop with the help of Java. Okay, so why to use Java? Using Java we can develop softwares. Which softwares we can develop? Application softwares. Under application softwares we have desktop, web applications and enterprise. Makes sense? What is the use of Java? Why Java? Little bit you have the high level understanding. Using Java we can develop the application softwares. Under application softwares we have these three categories. What are the three categories? Desktop, web and enterprise. Okay. Now to develop desktop applications in Java, we have a technology. We have a technology called as AWT Swing. This is an old technology. Right now this is not used. If you want to develop notepad like application or calculator like application, so Java FX is the latest technology that you can use. Then to develop web applications, we have Servlet, JSP. So let me tell you once again, Servlet and JSP using we can develop the web application, but right now in the industry, no one uses Servlet and JSP as it is. So we use frameworks. So what frameworks we can develop? We use Spring MVC we have. This is a popular one. Then we have JSF, Struts. Struts is also outdated. These are frameworks. Most of the time we will be using Spring MVC. What you are going to use? Spring MVC. Now to develop enterprise or distributed applications, we can use SOAP or REST. These are also called as web services. So you will come across this word website, web application and web services, right? So we will see in detail what is the difference between website, web application and enterprise application or web services. So there are three words. What are three words? A lot of people are confused with this. What is website, what is web application and what is web services, right? Now just little I will talk about this website, web application and web service. Later on we are going to talk about this. So websites are something, are the data. Now data can be, now if you look at any website, now let's say I will take example of this IT Shaala. Now the content of this website is created statically, means what is the data? I have text, formatted text, smaller text, I have images and some there are a lot of text also. So this text I have developed on local machine, I have put this information, I have put this on the server. What I have this data which I have nicely laid out on this page, pictures this side, form this side. So this is a static content, Everyone in the class now, if they visit this website now, everyone will get the same content. So how this is possible? Now I have put this content nicely formatted on a server machine. Now that data is static, I have just put the files there. There is a file called as index.html file. So that file I have put on the server machine. Now everyone visit this website, what they will get? They will get the same set of files and they will copy it on your local machine. So there is no change. So every time visit this website, you will get the same set of files. There is no change. So if 1000 people visit this website right now, they will get the same set of files because that files are stored only once at the server. So that is called as website. Website is nothing but a collection of static web pages. Web page means a page which is available over the internet. What is page? Can I call this as a page? So this page contains a data. This page contains a data formatted, images, there might be some other videos also. So this page is accessed over the internet. That's why it is called as web page. Now these pages are stored on a server machine. So I have purchased a server from the hostinger. There I have put this pages over there. Now everyone, they access this page over the internet. They need internet. That's why it is called as web page. Now I have multiple pages about IT Shaala courses. We have multiple courses. Now these are multiple pages. So what is website? Website is nothing but collection of static web pages. Every time you visit the website, you will get the same set of pages back. Pages, you can think of a document pages, just like a notepad. Now what I will do, I will just write this content locally, nicely format that and put this content as it on the server machine. Now where is this content present now? Whatever the text I have written, this content, where is this present? On my local machine. Now I will test this locally, everything is looking nicely, and then I will take this page and put it on the server machine. So everyone, whenever they hit itshaala.com, what will happen? What is this actually? This is a browser, right? This is a browser. Okay. Now let me just tell you about. So this is your machine. On this we have a browser, and there you put some website name, let's say itshaala.com. Now what happens from this? Request goes to one computer, that is an internet computer. So we call it as DNS server. What is this DNS stands for? Domain name server. Domain name server. Let's talk about this. Now request will come to DNS. Now where is this DNS? DNS server is already there. Now this is the machine I have purchased, let's say from the hostinger. So this is the remote machine. What is this? Remote machine that I have purchased from the, let's say, hostinger. Now on this machine I have stored some files, let's say index.html file. So the files are under this folder, you can think of. Now every machine has certain memory at the IP address. What is IP address? IP address is nothing but the address of this machine, right? Now we have two machines. Clearly see, what are the machines do we have? This is local machine, this is remote machine, and we have what? IP address, and we have domain. So what this DNS does? So there is a mapping. There is a mapping, very simple mapping. What is that? Now we have a phone number, we have a name, and we have a number. So it is easy for us to access the number. So name is your domain name, let's say IT Shaala, and number is nothing but your IP address. Now whenever someone requests for this name, so he found that this is for this particular number, and then that will be connected to this particular server. This we are going to learn as part of advanced Java, but I am just giving you a picture. So what happens? This is your client local machine. The client means we. Our browser, this is your browser. What is this? Browser. Now whenever you type, now we are currently on local machine. Now when I type this is browser. Now request will go to home, DNS. This is your DNS. So DNS, this is also a machine which maintains the mapping of your domain name and the IP address. Now this particular name, domain name, is mapped to this particular IP address. So what is the mapping? Let's say IT Shaala. And there is a mapping between, let's say, 192.2.7.31.2.7. Now the request will come to this particular machine, and this machine I have the files. Get these files and give it to this client. That's it. So this will happen again and again, again and again. So these files are not going to change. These files. Now what is this file contains? You can think of as a document file. You can think of as a document where data is stored. Like let's say we have bold, we have italic, we have some images, we have some songs also. So such a data, we get it from this machine and give it back to the client. So this is called as website. What is website? Collection of static web pages. Can someone just reiterate what I said just now? What is website? Website is nothing but collection of static web pages. Now where website is stored? On this particular machine. And what this machine contains? Some files, HTML files or text files. Now you get these files and give it on this machine, local machine. So these files can be accessed from anywhere. Yes. Can you access this website? Yes. So accessing the website is nothing but getting the files from this machine and give it back to the client. Okay. Able to understand what is website? Now, once again, so whether website content is going to change for every other user? No, right? Now I will just give a brief introduction about your web application also. Now YouTube, if you open YouTube, whether everyone is able to see the same content? Whether everyone is able to see the same content? No. We have a search button here. You search for some videos and you get the same content. You get different content. Every time your content changes, every time your input changes, your output will also change. Every time you put some input, you will get some different output. If you search for songs, you will get the songs. If you search for some programming tutorials, you will see some tutorials. So based on the user input, if your response is changing, now this is done with the help of web application. Now with the help of Java, can you develop? Now just to reiterate, to develop web application, we are going to use Java. To develop web application, we are going to use Java. And to develop website, what we are going to use? To develop website, we use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and there are lot of things. So with the help of Java, what are you going to develop? Are you going to develop website or web application? Web application. Now can someone just tell me the difference between web application and website? Web application is nothing but an application which is running on a server machine. If you go input, let's say songs, he will fetch the songs from the database and he will give it to the end user. So that processing logic is present at the backend side. So we'll be talking about this once we start the web application development. But just tell you, with the help of Java, we can develop web application, not the websites. Website is nothing bunch of pages which are stored on a machine. Every time you request for a website, you get the same set of files and you render it to the customer, or that is user. Yes, time for any quick check. Any questions so far? Yes, Naveen, any questions? Even I don't know the count. Do you know how many mobiles are there in the market? No. Maybe there are 1,000 plus programming languages will be there in the market. So every programming language, they have their own set of goals. Yes. So if you want to learn, you can learn all this. So see here, if you learn one programming language, let me tell you, you can learn rest of the programming language. Rest of the means popular ones. Let's say you learn Java, you can learn Java, C very easily. C++ also very easily you can learn. Then you can learn PHP or Python. Python also you can learn within a week's time if you know Java properly. So if you know one programming language, you can learn other programming language also. It is just a little bit syntax change. Logic will be similar everywhere. Logics will be similar everywhere. Okay, let's come back to the question. What is Java? Java is a high-level programming language using which we can develop the programs or softwares. Now, what type of softwares we can develop with the help of Java? We can develop application softwares. What are the two general categories of softwares? System software, application software. So with the help of Java, we can develop application softwares. Again, in application softwares, what all things we can develop? Yes, again in the application side, what all applications we can develop? Desktop applications, web applications and enterprise applications, right? Okay. Next follow-up question, who introduced Java or who invented the Java? Who developed the programming language Java? So there was a company, who was that? Sun Microsystems. And there was a team, who was there was a couple of people. So that team was, what is the team name? Green team. And that team consisted some couple of developers. And there was a major developer, James Gosling was the major developer, right? When it was around late 1990s, right? Initially, what was the job of this particular team? What was this team was doing? This team was doing, what was their work? Every company have a team and every team will do some work. So what was the job of this particular team? What was this team doing? Developing a development of programming language, right? Now this programming language, initially they gave a name. So let's say that let's develop a programming language so that other developers will use our programming language and will develop the softwares. So they developed the programming language and initially they gave a name as Oak. But this Oak was registered by someone else. This was under trademarks and they later changed this to Oak to Java, right? So later they changed to Java. Now is there any full form, long form for Java? There is nothing. It is just some people, you see that coffee bean symbol for the Java. If you see Java symbol, so you see this, what is this coffee symbol? So why this is coffee symbol? Why there is a coffee symbol? So this is Java stands for a coffee type. Java is nothing but a coffee name. Coffee name it is. Type of a coffee. That's why they have symbol like this, right? And if you see, this was the guy designed by James Gosling. If you search him around, this is the guy. 67 years. Is he alive? Okay, no worries. So you are able to understand who has invented and who was the team. Okay, let's begin. So this question you can prepare for the interviews. Lot of people will be facing the question. What is that? Difference between website, web application and web services. Website, web application and web services. So we will be drilling much more into this once we start the actual content for the web development. Okay. What else we have seen? So what was their agenda? So okay, it is a why we are using Java is to develop softwares, right? Now the team who started actual development of this programming language, so they had a work. What is that work? Development of programming language. So their work agenda, what was their work agenda or goals they wanted to achieve after completing their work? What is their agenda? So since it is a programming language, so other developers will be using this programming language to develop softwares, right? Now whatever the softwares that will be built or developed using Java should take a less amount of memory, right? So less memory consumption, right? And there was another agenda. What was that? Less power consumption. Perfect. So now if you see, there are some softwares which take a lot of memory and power also. Now if you see, let me open the activity. Now you will see that these are the different applications are running on my machine. These are multiple applications are running on my machine. So they use CPU, memory, disk and network, and there is one more, that is what is that, power also. They use power also. They use power also. So if your application takes lot of memory, then other applications will not be able to continue. If your application takes lot of memory, if you see at this, so what will happen if your application takes, now this Google Chrome is taking lot of memory. Now what is that, which memory it is used? Can someone tell me what is the memory this application is using? RAM. And we have limited RAM storage. Now let's say this machine has 16 GB, and if your application itself is taking, let's say 5 to 10 GB, other applications will not be able to execute properly. So it is very expensive application. So if your application takes lot of memory, that is RAM as well as and disk also, or maybe CPU also, it will take, obviously it will take more CPU if your application is very heavy, and to run that we need lot of power also. We need lot of power also. We need lot of power also. So what they wanted, the softwares which are developed using Java will take less memory, less power, and whatever the application you will develop with the help of Java should be developed with minimal number of instructions. With minimal number of instructions. So less number of instructions. Less number of instructions. So if obviously number of instructions will be less, then the software development will be faster. It will be very much faster, right? So you will need less memory consumption, you will have less power consumption, and there was one more very important. What is that? Yes, obviously less number of instruction means less execution time. And that was very much important, because if you see, Java was introduced in late 1990s. So that was lot of electronic devices were introduced in the market, consumable devices, example TV, fridge, like this, and everyone needed some kind of programming, your TV remotes, washing machine, fridge. So they wanted to have a software which will run across the devices on most of the machines. So that was one major agenda you can think of. Before that they had, these were the agenda, yes, but there was one number one agenda. What was that? We call it as ORA. So this was the number one agenda, because they wanted to run the application on most of the devices. You will write the code only once, you will write the code, write once, run anywhere. Anywhere means you will have multiple devices, you should be able to run the application on multiple devices also. So ORA means, now this is also referred as platform independent. Platform So what do you mean by ORA? Now let's say I have 10 devices and I wanted to have a programming on the devices. So if you write the program only once, and if that program runs on any of the platform, means that device, the device is called as platform. So if the program which you written only once, and if that program can run on these multiple platforms or multiple devices. So developer, let's say me as a Java developer, if I develop a software, now I want to run that application on multiple devices or multiple platforms. So what is platform? Platform is nothing but anything. It can be a hardware or it can be software which lets you run other applications. What is platform? It is anything which lets you install or execute other softwares. So if I write the Java program only once, and if I am able to execute that program on multiple machines or on any machine or any platform, that is called as platform independent. So Java people have given this very much priority. This was the number one reason Java is so popular. What is the number one reason why Java is popular? What is the reason Java is so popular? Platform independency. Platform independency, or that is ORA feature. Write once, run anywhere, means any machine or any platform. You should be able to run on any machine or any platform. That is the number one reason. Makes sense? Now we'll understand. We have already seen this platform. Platform means anything which lets you execute other softwares. Now operating system, you call it as Windows platform, iOS platform, or Linux platform, Mac platform. What are these? Platform is nothing but operating system also. Yes or no? So let's talk about this. Now what is platform? Now don't take platform literally. Now I have a device. Now what is the first thing you do when you get any new hardware laptop or any other hardware PC or something? What is that first thing? You install OS. You install OS. Now can you install OS on any hardware, or there has to be a particular set of hardware only? So this hardware is acting as a platform because it lets you run your operating system. Your operating system we can execute on this particular platform or this particular hardware. Yes or no? Now we install other softwares on your operating system. So other applications we installed on this particular OS. So first we install OS. On top of that we have other application softwares. So OS is also called as platform, and this hardware is also called as platform. So what is platform? Anything which lets you execute other applications or softwares. Makes sense this much? What is platform? Okay. Now what is platform independency means? If I have a software, and if I have OS 1, OS 2, OS 3. Now this is, let's say, Windows, Linux and Mac. Now a developer has written the software on this machine, and this code can be executed on all of the machines. If it is so, then this is called as platform independency. What is platform independency? If a program which is compiled on one machine, if it can be executed on multiple machines, it is called as platform independency. Platform independency. What is platform independency? If a program which is compiled on one machine like this, and if it can be executed on multiple other machines. You compile program or a software on one machine, and if that same software can be executed on other machines. If you can run an application on multiple machines, then it is called as platform independent. What it is called as? Platform independent. And Java programming language is a platform independent programming language. Right? Okay. So you got the idea what that Java programming language had this some set of features. There are lot many features. We will see that all features. What was their agenda? So their agenda has become now features of Java. Their task list has become now agenda of your or the features of your Java. So we going to learn all the features, but these are the some high level features or high level agenda of the Java. And they wanted to make simple. They wanted to make this simple programming language. So how they made a simple programming language? By eliminating all the complex concepts earlier the Java. So earlier Java there were C, C++, other programming language also. So the concepts which were very complex to understand and implement also. So these concepts are completely removed in Java, and syntax is also simplified. And there are a lot of concepts which are introduced in Java which makes a developer's life easy. Example, now developer is not supposed to handle the memory. Automatic memory management is done. That is also one of the feature you can think of. So developer is now free from doing that. So that is automated. Memory management is also automated in Java. So if you in C and C++, developer is supposed to allocate and deallocate the memory. So that headache is also removed in Java, memory allocation and deallocation. So as such, we have a lot of features which are available in Java, which are simplified in Java. That's why we call it a simple programming language. So they wanted to make it simple for developer and end user also. Right? Makes sense this part till this point? Okay, perfect. Okay, so there was one question yesterday or last class we have seen. What was that question? Is C++ our platform independent? Or I should write are C++ platform independent? Answer is no. Answer is no. So how they are not platform independent? Why they are platform dependent? C++ are platform dependent. They are platform dependent. So how they are platform dependent? Can someone tell me? Now see here. Now what is the code you write inside this C program or .c or .c++? Now this code is translated by or compiled by a compiler. Now this compiler is also software. This compiler is also software. Now this entire thing is running on, let's say, Windows machine. Now this compiler job is to take this .c code, what is the code we have written, and convert that into zeros and ones. And that zeros and ones are specifically developed only for Windows machine. So these zeros and ones will work only on Windows machine. This will work only on Windows machine. Now if I take these zeros and ones and if I try to run these zeros and ones on Mac machine, this will not work. This will not work. If I take same set of zeros and ones on Linux machine, it will not work. So we need different set of zeros and ones for different machine. So your code compiled, now this code compiled once is not able to run on different machines. The code which you compiled on this machine is not able to run on this Windows, Mac or Linux. Let's say Windows it will work. What about Mac and Linux? It will not work. The code which is compiled on one platform will not run on other platforms. So Mac, Linux are nothing but your platforms or operating systems. So code which is compiled on one machine, if it is not able to execute on any other given machine, then it is platform dependent. So C and C+ programming language are platform. So they are dependent on which machine? Windows machine only now in this case. So they are platform dependent. So how C and C++ programs are or programming language are platform dependent? So C and C++ program once compiled on one machine cannot be executed on any other machine except the underlying machine, because this compiler will generate the zeros and ones which are understood only by the Windows, not by the Mac, not by the Linux. Right? Now let's try to write this. Yes, yes, Nadir. Yes, correct. Correct. Mm-hmm. Correct. 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 Okay. So see here, to sum up your question, I will tell you now the difference now to develop the internet-based applications. To develop internet-based applications, the programming language should be, we need to have, if you carefully see, if you want to develop internet-based applications, the number one requirement is to be platform independent. C and C++ are not platform independent, they are dependent, but Java is platform independent. So why C, C++ and Java are compared together? That is the question, right? Because C, C++ can also develop application softwares. Which application software? Desktop applications. And Java is also used to develop desktop applications also. So you can develop application softwares with the help of C, C++ also. But the limitation is that to develop internet-based applications such as web applications, C and C++ are not used that much, or they cannot be used technically. We need some other library or tool which will help you to integrate with the internet. So what is the number one flaw of the C, C++? The softwares which are developed with the help of C and C++ are standalone applications. They are standalone, means whatever the softwares you develop, they will actually work on a single machine. So application which is running on a single machine, this is nothing but a standalone application. So to develop such application, we prefer C, C++, as well as for the game development also we focus on C++. And to develop internet-based applications, we largely use Java. To based standalone applications, we give preference to C and C++. Now, Deep, my question, like, answer you are satisfied or you need it? So, if you see carefully, if you want to develop internet-based application, what is the number one prerequisite? The programming language must be platform independent. So, can we develop internet-based application with the help of C and C++? It is closely, we can develop, we can have other plugins in place which will convert, which will make the code platform independent. But directly from the scratch, if I want to develop internet-based application using C, C++, it is difficult. We cannot do that. So with the help of Java, what is Java's specialty? Developing the internet-based web applications. And what is the specialty of C, C++? They are used to develop standalone or system softwares, which will work on a single machine, right? So there is a follow-up question also, why Java is platform independent also, how Java is platform independent or how Java works. Yes, we will cover that in short time, but this question everyone understand what is C, C++, how they are platform independent or how they are platform dependent. Able to understand? So we will try to write this. What is platform independency? What is platform independency? Code which is compiled on one machine or a platform, we can also call it as platform, can be executed on any other platform or machine, any other machine or platform. If it is so, then we can say the programming language is code which is compiled on one machine, let's say Windows machine, and if I am able to, now I have compiled one code on this Windows machine, and if I take that compiled code and run it on Mac machine, it should run. If it is so, then it is called as platform independent programming language. Able to understand what is platform independency? the code which is compiled on one machine, if it is able to execute on any other machine, that is platform independency. Able to understand? So Java is helping you to do this. Java helps you to do this, right? Okay. Now next follow-up question can be, how Java works, or how Java is platform independent. How Java is platform independent, or how Java works. And answer to that, let's try to understand this. Okay, so answer is also very simple if you carefully see. So the code which we write, let's say this is one machine. On this machine I develop a Java application. So I will save that file as source file.java. Now this file app.java contains a set of instructions which are written inside this particular file. So this file, I want to check whatever the source code we have written, whether it is correct or whether it is grammatical, any mistakes or any logical issues. For that purpose, we use a software called as Java compiler. What is the job of the Java compiler? It does two things primarily. What is the job of this? Take this file as an input. Take this file as an input and check, is there any issues or any grammatical issues or any language related issues. If it is there, then it will show at the compile time. So we compile this file with the help of Java compiler. Then Java compiler, what it does? As a output, now this is the input. What is the input? This app.java file is input. As a output, it generates, what it generates? Something called as bytecode. And what is this bytecode? First of all, it is not a binary code. So let me be clarifying. So whatever this output is stored inside a file called as app.class, or maybe based on the class name. So this file contains a bytecode. What is bytecode? Some intermediate code. What is this? Some intermediate code. So this is not binary, it is not zeros and ones, it is just a conversion from your this source file into this particular intermediate conversion. Clear this part? So with the help of Java compiler, now there are two entities. What is the job of the Java compiler? Take this as an input and proceed with the output. What is that? .class file. Now what this .class file contains? Some intermediate code. So that intermediate code is also called as bytecode. Now this entire thing is on one machine. This entire thing is on one machine, let's say. Now this machine is a Windows machine. This is a Windows machine. Now I want to, the compiled code, this code I want to run on multiple machines. Now let's say I have multiple machines. I have a Linux machine, I have a Mac machine, I have, let's say, other Fedora machine. So I have multiple. Let's say this is a Mac machine, this is a Linux machine, and this is, let's say, Fedora or any other machine. Now what I said, the code which is compiled on one machine, let's say Windows machine, if it is able to execute on any other machine, it is called as platform independent programming language. What I am saying once again, so the code which is compiled on one machine, if it is able to execute on any other machine, it is called as platform independent programming language. So in case of Java, what happens? Your .java file is given to the input to the Java compiler. Java compiler checks, is there any error, is there any mistake? If there is no mistake, then it will generate the output file called as .class file. In that file, we get a bytecode. Now this bytecode is not a binary, it is not zeros and ones, it is just a intermediary conversion, right? Now this bytecode, whatever we have, we give this to particular machine, Linux machine. Same code is given to all of the machine, and on all of these machines we have different software. Now what is that one software we installed? That software we call it as, let's say, JRE. Here also JRE is installed on this machine. Here also JRE is installed. Now the job of this JRE, take this dot class as an input. Now who provides this software? Java itself only. So Java provides this software also. What is that JRE? JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment or Java Runtime Execution Engine also we call it as. So the JRE is installed on this Mac machine also. JRE is installed on Linux also. JRE is installed on Fedora also. The job of this JRE is take this bytecode and convert this into zeros and ones. Zeros and ones. But the zeros and ones will be different. So Mac machine will have different set of zeros and ones. Linux machine will have different set of zeros and ones. Fedora machine will have different set of zeros and ones. Now these zeros and ones are executed on this particular machine. So can I say once again, if you take picture, the code which is compiled on one machine, we are able to execute on any other machines. We are able to execute on this any other machine, yes or no? The code which is compiled on one machine, we are able to execute on any other machine. So this feature is called as write once, run anywhere. So you have written the code only once, but the same code can be run on any other machine. So this is how Java achieves platform independency. So what happens in Java? Whatever the code you write, that you save with help of .java file, that is given to Java compiler. Then Java compiler converts that into an intermediate code called as bytecode. This is not a binary code. Now this .class file is input to your JRE. Now this JRE is a software that we have to install on every other machine. So let's say you want to run this Java program on this machine. What is the prerequisite? We need to have JRE. What is the prerequisite? We need to have a JRE. This JRE will take this file as input and will convert corresponding zeros and ones. That will be executed to given Mac. Similar for the Linux and Fedora or any other machine. So what is the prerequisite to run Java applications? So JRE should be installed on every other machine. So can I say Java programming language is platform independent and Java program compiled on one machine can be executed on any other machine provided JVM or JRE is installed on that machine. Once again, Java program which is compiled on one machine or one platform can be executed on any other platform or a machine or operating system provided there is a on that machine, target machine, what is that? JRE is there. So JRE is required for the target machine or source, whether it is required for end customer or the developer. End customer. So end customer only wants to run the application. To run the application we use JRE. Clear? So how Java is platform independent and how Java works, these you will be able to explain. Will you be able to explain everyone? Okay. So Navdeep, can you explain for us like how Java is platform independent? Perfect. 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 Yeah. Thanks, Navdeep. Thanks. I think that's sufficient for today. we can rapidly